did it.
You
Are
want
we
to do
doing
the same
Genesis
joke about the mixed sandwich again? So it'll be the third time this podcast, or is two enough?
I
Or
love
what do you
being
think?
sandwiched by two just meaty men. It just,
No, you're the bread.
no, you're the bread.
Welcome to the most plague-filled MTZBWY.
Everyone's sick.
Everyone's sick. Everybody's miserable. Welcome to the end
Is
of
Louis sick too?
2021.
I am kind of sick. My kids are.
Okay.
My kids were very sick, and I am
joined
dad
today by the king of Weight Watchers himself.
Oh, Jesus. Oh, no.
Louis George.
Oh man! Don't tell George anything in your life.
No, seriously. If you have if you're sensitive about something, don't share that one sensitive thing because
I help you get over your phobias.
Well,
and
no,
I'm
he
also
abuses
joined
you
by
until you're
America's
desensitized.
favorite barista, Mick O'Murray.
Everyone loves the coffee content.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, man.
You should start a Fab and Coffee podcast.
I've actually thought about it.
Yeah,
I've
I will
legitimately
not.
thought
I will
about
not
it.
watch it.
Oh, that's fine. Apparently, everybody else on your channel will.
Wow, that's great. Wow, that's I love it. I like it.
I already don't watch content already. Never mind if it's coffee based.
I
Am I
only
like-
watch Rudy.
Am I
It's so bad.
stuttering right now? Like, is my video feed
No, you look great.
okay?
Did you do his stupid test so it's not?
You know, we didn't test it. It's fine. It's good.
Are you sure?
Positive.
Because I'm on my Mac now, not on my PC, and I'm
This
It's
is going to
great.
go great.
Yeah, it's great.
All right.
And George,
So-
you are the sickest person on. You are at the verge of death.
He has
This might be the
long
last time we see George. This
I'll
might
be honest.
This,
I did okay yesterday. Then last night I way overdid it. I am hurting today. I am hurting today. All right. So today we're talking about New Year's resolutions. What do we
Oh.
want the games to be doing as they look through the peeping glass and look into 2022? What do we hope the games do in 2022? Different, better, the same than they did in 2021.
and this is going to be a special episode because it's going to start with Mitch. It's a Mitch sandwich. This episode's the
Oh
Mitch
my God, you already made
sandwich.
that joke in the middle of
I
the
know.
Mitch sandwich.
It's-
Oh my
it
God. it's a
starts with
disaster.
Mitch, and then the Pokemon and Magic are not Mitch because he was dealing with his kids, and then the end is Mitch. It's it's the perfect combination of a Mitch sandwich.
I love. Did you know I used to make sandwiches for a living at
Oh
McDonald's?
God, here we go.
America's favorite burger flipper, Mick
Oh,
O'Murray.
I said sandwiches.
A
We don't have
burger's
to
a
get in-
sandwich.
I worked at McAllister's, which doesn't have.
I love
burgers.
McAllister's.
The
I
question
used to
is-
work in the back of house, just turning out sandwiches.
Is a burger a sandwich?
Yes,
Okay.
we all agree. But
Okay.
they don't have burgers at McAllister's. I worked at a deli. It's different. Anyways, so it's starting with me.
Fine, go for it, boss.
Well,
You're up.
Louis said we're sandwiching me, so I just want to make sure.
No, like you're sandwiched on the content.
Godspeed.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm
No,
sorry. I
Godspeed.
didn't know
Go
if
for
Yeah,
it.
let's start with Mitch though. I just
Well,
received
I'm
a
not-
child.
Okay. So I think the thing that I'm most excited to see this year is what happens with Genesis. Like I feel like it's on like the
No,
precipice.
wait, Mitch, we're supposed to start with Flesh and Blood.
Oh,
sorry.
you didn't.
We're starting with Fab.
We're
What do you
starting
want
with
to see
Fab.
from Fab this year, Mitch?
I'm genuinely actually excited for Everfest. I don't
Yeah.
know. I'm looking forward to it. It will be the first Fab set that I'm kind of enjoying from a player's perspective and from like a collector's perspective, which
That's the difference. I've been enjoying all the sets as a player's perspective.
Oh,
So that's the
please.
difference.
You didn't start playing until after Monarch.
How much XP did you get yesterday?
I
How much
love
XP did y'all get yesterday?
I love that George is milking our podcast to change the public's persona of him as a investor
evil
to a
investor
player.
to player.
He's just trying to milk our, and no one's falling for it.
No,
Like no one's falling for it.
George, feel free
George-
to post up your XP, in the channel.
I got
George,
6
who-
XP yesterday.
Who
How much
won
did y'all
your
get yesterday?
WTR draft yesterday? WTR draft yesterday?
We're going to talk about that in a minute.
No,
I
who
think you
won?
cheated.
I want to
I
know
think
now.
you cheated. I
Team
think you
Kitchen
cheated.
Fable, baby. Shout out to Logan. Team Kitchen Fable.
Oh,
beat
you got
George's
Logan
whole
Paul in?
score. Logan Paul.
Phil let me
yeah.
down.
I told
Phil,
you.
where were you? Phil, I needed
Team
you.
Kitchen Fable. Logan
It was-
Paul coming in.
It was Logan Vines, right?
Yeah,
Nice.
One of the nicest people I've ever met.
that's absolutely true.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm actually really interested. So Louis and I are not Louis patrons. Louis and I are patrons of Alpha Investments.
Yeah.
And I'm really interested to see the future of Fab. It sounds like they've heard and they've seen Unlimited and how it's doing, or the lack of performance that they expected of that product. And it sounds like they're making some changes, and I'm genuinely curious to see the outcome of that. We haven't really talked about it on the podcast, but like when I closed the Midtown Merchant, it was more like it's just advantageous for me to continually sell singles. And I'm kind of pigeonholed in the singles window because I'm not a brick and mortar like Louis and George, but I'm genuinely curious to see if like there's a viable model that comes out of any movement of booster boxes. Maybe they change the way in which they present them or sell them or whatever. I'm genuinely curious to see the outcome of that. I'm also kind of confused. Like, we saw pre-images we haven't heard anything about Unlimited or First, really.
Everfest is definitely having Unlimited.
Well, we saw the product images, right?
From LSS.
Right.
One distro is also taking orders for.
Yeah.
Are they already taking it? Okay.
Yeah.
So I did not know that. So I was curious of like, is this the last set they do Unlimited with? Are they going to announce something like that? Are they going to keep doing Unlimited? So I'm genuinely curious to see. We've heard from Rudy, like
that's always weird to me. It's weird to me that Rudy's
I understand
the voice of this. Like it's always bizarre to me.
But we know in engaging with him that he does have regular conversations with LSS. Regular being like at least once a quarter is kind of my vibe. So that being said, if has communication with them, like lots of other LGSs do are able to communicate, I am curious to hear like outcomes of that, and it sounds like they're making changes. I don't remember explicitly or directly what he said in that message, but he did basically say, look, they've heard this, they've seen it, they're making changes, and I want to know what those changes are.
Well, it looks like they're trying to hop off the Channel Fireball breadbasket, go to SCG. That's been the vibe.
Well, yeah,
nobody knows
SCG is kind of putting on. I mean, and if we were to pick two different,
that's a huge upgrade.
Yeah, that's exactly. I was going to say, if you could pick and choose. Yeah.
Star City Games is great. Star City Games is wonderful. Yeah. No beef with Star City Games.
I've only ever heard you say good things about Star City Games.
Yeah, no beef with Star City Games. Great company run by a good dude. They treat the product with the respect it deserves. I don't think they're going to dump it like other game companies have, not naming names like Channel Fireball.
I mean, the damage is. I feel like
I agree the damage is done.
Like it's just now that's the price of an unlimited box. It's
but the Rudy message basically said that James White told him that they're looking at these direct partners and seeing who handled the product with respect and who didn't, and that's good. And I hope they do that, and I hope they come to the same conclusion that like most community has, that Channel Fireball has done maybe some serious damage to the brand.
It's such a Anyway,
it's really a bummer.
Here is what I want. I think the community needs to get a grip. And I say this with nothing but love for 95% of you.
You need to tell George that he is a player, not an evil investor. That's what you need to say. Get a grip and accept that George is a player.
Y'all are picking me when I'm sick and dying.
Wait, stop it. If you dish it up
yesterday in store? Did you play? I mean, I'm assuming you didn't have a fever. But I
didn't have a fever. I've tested negative for COVID 18 times.
He's had, his wife's made him take 15 COVID tests.
The community needs to simmer down a little bit, in my opinion.
Simmer down in what way?
Well, if you let me talk, I'd maybe explain it for a second here. So, whenever somebody talks about Metazoo and Fab, they're like, oh, that evil SOB has killed the market and ruined my childhood.
Are they talking about you?
Mother of God. But when somebody does a 6-figure or a 5-figure Magic the Gathering box opening, they're like, oh, that guy's a hero. Look how he's converting Magic players to Fab players. This is nonsense. The community needs to be okay with the game it has and build around the game versus trying to tear down others who happen to enjoy more than one card game.
Yep.
You are allowed to like Metazoo and Fab. You are allowed to say, hey, it really stinks that one distributor is now 33% more than the other distributor, and that doesn't say anything bad about Flesh and Blood. It says something bad about that distributor.
Yeah.
You need to actually listen, not listen to a couple of morons on Facebook. You need to actually listen to what is said and think about, hey, that's actually right. At the end of the day, if one store is paying 33% more than another store, that's going to create a lot of weirdness in the market.
Yep.
And that's what we're seeing.
Feels bad for a lot of small LGSs.
Yes.
Who you want to carry the game.
So
somebody was talking that there's only 2 stores in all of Vermont. Somebody
was 14 people in Vermont. Like that's more than I thought you were going to say.
It's a whole state. There's 2 stores in Taze Valley, West Virginia that carry Flesh and Blood.
Because of Louis.
So
Oh,
anywho,
I'm a nobody.
Yeah, but you're in West Virginia, and you're the only other thing in West Virginia that's popular.
No,
so.
there's 3 stores in my area. One of them, no connection to me.
I think the community needs to do some reflect, especially when like the email from Rudy seems to suggest that LSS agrees, right?
Yeah, that was my thing. Like I feel
LSS seems to be saying we understand that, in particular, a couple of stores and a distributor, it seems like, have not handled the product with the respect it deserves,
right?
And we're going to address that going forward. That's all that's been said. Nick, nobody I'm aware of has ever said, you know what really sucks? Flesh and Blood.
Yeah.
Nobody has said that. That's not been the argument. The argument hasn't been gameplay. The argument hasn't been any of this nonsense. It has been certain direct partners are not handling the game with the respect that I'll say that I believe the game deserves.
Right.
That's not saying Fab is bad. That's not saying Fab is kill. That is just saying some people are abusing the fact that LSS is based in New Zealand and not the U.S. They're not as in tune with the U.S. market as as many other games are.
Well, the community has gotten so wrapped around this player versus collector mentality, which is like why you're so terrible for the game, George, because you are pumping yourself as a player and you are also a collector. You know, I think that it's
I mean, like
I'm a great collector and a great player.
Just giving you a hard time.
I will tell you this.
He was a collector turned player.
I have now played in 5 events that have 4 rounds. I have gone undefeated the last 2 rounds of every one of those tournaments.
Wow. And a couple of those were buys. And
it's a Swiss, so you lose 2 games.
Don't
you get knocked down to the bottom.
Mitch, just let him have it, buddy. Just let him have it.
I'm just saying he's winning off the bottom. But
how much XP did y'all have this week out of curiosity?
Just let him have it, Mitch. Just let him have it. It's fine. It's fine.
Undefeated the last 2 rounds.
That's awesome.
Undefeated.
Okay.
If there was a 10-round tournament, I would only ever lose the first 2 rounds. I'd go 2-8, and I'd win it all.
I agree that the community feels different.
It seems like it seems like so many people are desperate to be offended. They're like.
Now hold on. But there's a sense to this that we are. This podcast is definitely a hot button because of the history of the podcast. It is a hot button.
It's no longer a fat podcast. Is that what you mean?
Well, it started out as a joke. I mean, the Metazoo text. It was a joke. That Metazoo text was a joke. And anyway, so I think George, you feel some of that. I think as a whole, though, the community seems like it was built on this idea that in the short term, Flesh and Blood was going to be the size of Magic the Gathering, and like I was guilty of this, and I have had
the next modern TCG, or like
that's fine. TCG. I think I was guilty of this too, and I had to redefine what Flesh and Blood is in my mind, and I think the community is maybe having a little bit of a hard time with that. Like it's going to take longer than the 2 years that. I'm going to be honest. I thought Flesh and Blood would be, in my mind, as big as Magic the Gathering in 2 years, which was a stupid thing to think. Like that was a dumb thought, Louis. Like that was a dumb sentiment and a dumb thought.
I don't think I think the reason we thought that is because of the accelerated growth that it had within the first 18 months, 12 months that it was out there.
The market had that.
Yeah, and what was really interesting is we didn't realize until set 4, so when Monarch was coming out, that was really the genesis of the game to some extent, right? Like that was the beginning. It would have been really interesting. I've been kind of contemplating I actually think the release strategy of what they did for the first 3 sets was really wise. And I like how they incrementally introduced us to a more complex game that's in Monarch and, Tales. It gets me kind of, I am curious to see, I feel like Monarch is really, in terms of gameplay, is where the game's going to start kind of gathering people, if you will, because that's kind of the core game at this point.
And I think what the community is feeling is there is a sense of some people who prefer the old game, and that's going to happen. And the community has to figure out what they're going to do with that.
Yeah.
I hope as a community we can become more. I mean, I just feel like when I started this channel, let me finish my sentence.
Go ahead.
When I started this channel, everybody was all about each other. It was all this consensus, even content creators. It was all about everybody doing things together. And we have come to a few. It's become a battle. Like content creators making videos about each other, and it's just become this weird. Just a mar to the market, a mar to the community. I try to not do that content because I don't have anything bad to say about. Like, it's just different.
It's not your MO, but like it is interesting to see how the community, as it has grown, because the community has grown a lot in the last year.
Mm-hmm.
It shifted a lot. It shifted a lot from To the Moon to like, is the game. I say this kind of cautiously because I don't think that this is true, but there are people like, is the game dying? And then there's other people like, no, the game's not dead. There's 1,000 people at this event and 1,000 people at that event. So there's just a lot of polarization of people are like, oh, the game's dead because I got burned on Monarch. And I think that there was just unhealthy expectations early on, to your point, Louis. Like, we're like, oh, this is going to go 3,000% in the next year. I mean, I remember having a conversation with George as we were acquiring singles, like high-end singles cold foils last year. Even with Louis part of the conversation, we were guessing this time, this year, the heart would be 100K.
Yeah.
I think there's a podcast where we all said that an alpha box was going to be 20K by the end of this year.
Yeah. And now you can get a case for less than that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, way less.
And so,
hi, doggy.
And I think what's funny though, the game came out 2 years ago, and a case is worth how much?
Right.
15K, 16.
And this is my point. I think as a community, we have to accept the fact that like a alpha box, the cost of a revised Magic the Gathering box doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Like, it just doesn't. It's just not. It's going to take more time than that. And like, the key to look at.
Spot now.
I agree. The key to look at. Well, I've done a video this week saying that that 2-month window around Monarch was a bubble. Like, it was all. If you take out, you obviously didn't watch that video, George. If you take out,
I do remember watching it though. It was like this.
Yeah,
and on either side, and there's just like huge lump.
If you take out that 2-month window of idiocracy, myself included, buying a $13,000 eye with my life savings account, like if you take out that 2-month window, which nobody seems to care about, nobody seems to, all people anyway.
Burn Louis down.
Burn me. I don't care about the game because I'm not rich and can't afford 15 hearts and 15 eyes, so I don't care about the game. But anyway.
Have you thought about trying to be more rich?
I've tried, man. I think every day, man, if I just will this in my head, if I just think about money, I'll become rich. But
that's how it works, right, George? Tell us how it works.
Yeah.
Be better.
All right. Can I tell my thing? We've done George's community thing. Mitch wants Everfest to be. I would love to see from Flesh and Blood in the year 2022 player versus environment experiences where we get to play together as a team to beat a common enemy in the card game world. This is a new idea for me. This is a new idea. Just let me flesh it out just a little bit for you, so that you can see the blood of it. That was good, wasn't it? Let me flesh it out so you can see.
You should tell him that he should not be in marketing, right?
But
no comment. I'm saying nothing. I want everybody to see that. Nick set me up for that one for the spike. I'm not doing it.
Oh man. But I would love to see a way. I was thinking about this a lot. I see a lot of people comparing ideas like Commander and saying, when the community needs to create like this. I really think that Flesh and Blood needs a driven thing from LSS that helps support more casual play, more just like friends hanging out and playing the game. Let me finish.
I didn't even say anything.
God,
you are the one of the sensitive ones.
You got to give us some space though too to interject, because you have some interesting ideas that we can kind of build off of.
No, I agree. I would love to see a way to play in a. Okay, go ahead. You all know my PvE.
You just want to play with friends. Louis wants
friends. You can
play
casual and it not be PvE.
Yeah,
it can be.
Yeah, sure.
Like
it's not the same.
Like there's casual magic. There's no PvE magic. There's casual Pokemon. There's casual Metazoo. There doesn't have to be.
Isn't Popper casual?
Isn't what?
Popper isn't like a commoner casual?
I would venture to say that Popper is one of the most competitive versions of Magic the Gathering.
Commoner at my store yesterday before the Welcome to Wraith draft.
Before you guys did a more sanctioned event, you played casually commoner.
And notice we did not play PvE.
You're right. You're both right. You can play casual. My point is a different dynamic. I'm allowed to pick what I think. I want to see PvE.
No, we can teamwork ultimate pit fight. That could be interesting, and do like allies versus.
I just want to call Louis a terrorist every time I play UPF.
Make sure you put them on the team that are the terrorists, and then you can be whatever the other.
I am team Bucky's and Freedom.
Team Bucky's and Freedom. I just want to see. I think the world of Flesh and Blood is so. I was having a conversation the other day. Somebody was saying, if you look at Magic the Gathering's lore and you compare it to Flesh and Blood lore, how much more refined how much more refined Flesh and Blood is.
Yes.
And like, there's
the Magic lore is pretty brutal.
It's horrible. There's such a good springboard for something like that, and I think that that's what I want to see in 2022. So.
Wow.
That's my spiel.
So George wants to be a player.
George is a player. George wants to.
Hey, George, you don't become a player just because you have XP. It takes time, my man.
I want to play George. I'm going to visit George. My wife for Christmas bought me plane tickets to go visit George. So we're gonna do a whole thing. Is that your?
When are y'all doing that?
I'm gonna wreck you.
I think that in January, the end of January, last weekend or the second to last.
I'm gonna destroy you.
Is one of your big events that weekend, George?
No, it's a week before.
Change your event to that weekend.
Okay, I'll call LSS and tell them that I need to change.
Yeah.
Hey, I have this really big YouTuber coming in, and I need to change.
Maybe you've heard of him.
They won't do it. If you're like, hey, this another YouTuber was coming in, they'd probably be like, oh yeah, please change it.
What you need to do is actually say DM Amrata is flying in just for my tournament.
Yeah.
And, can you guys change my?
They'd be like, oh, you're having Louis fly in? Let's just cancel your store.
Is that when your skirmishes?
No, there's no. So we have
not skirmish season.
We have farewell to Welcome to Wraith. I think the weekend after Louis comes, and we have.
Is it still farewell season?
What?
I think it's the start of farewell season.
Okay.
There's only one weekend for farewell to Welcome to Wraith.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then it's ProQuest.
Then it's ProQuest the month after.
How many seats do you have for that?
16.
That's actually pretty small.
Oh, it's like, that's my only complaint is I wish I could fit 32. Like I'm gonna have to turn away some players.
Yeah.
Sorry, Louis.
Sorry, you can't play.
I think it's all right because Briar's not in Welcome to Wraith, so it's all right.
So George won't know how to play.
George won't be playing.
I'm sorry. Over me drafting Welcome to Wraith yesterday. What were y'all?
George, what did you draft?
Who do you think I drafted?
Casting.
Bravo, of course.
Oh, you didn't take my advice. George
I did not take your advice. Your
George
advice was
called
terrible.
me and said, "Give me advice."
Your advice was terrible.
Well,
how many people
didn't win.
Dory?
Huh?
What did Logan play?
He played Dory.
I think Dorinthia.
Yeah, Dory's pretty good.
I hate playing against Dorinthia.
I do too, dude.
I hate playing against Dorinthia.
I absolutely. She is when I first started playing, I was like, give me any deck that can beat Dorinthia. That's the only thing I played because I always played with my brother-in-law and he always played Dorinthia and he kicked my ass every single time. And it drove me nuts. You're like, I gotta either overblock and then he just saves the cards for next turn, or anyways, I'm gonna get off my rant. I hate Dorinthia.
All right.
She has a crazy win rate too. Did you guys see her living legend status is actually quite high?
Oh, thank the Lord.
She's in the top 5, I think.
Not
that's not gonna happen.
No, you gotta get through Briar and Chain first.
It's not anywhere close to Chain or to your favorite one.
The fact that Briar has outpaced Chain so fast,
it's insane.
All right, are we ready to transition? We're gonna cut
Are we
Mitch out.
transitioning
All right,
to Metazoo now?
ready? Bye, Mitch.
Bye, Mitch. May
See you
the zoo be
guys.
with you.
All right. That was a pretty awkward transition, but now it's just me and George because this is before Mitch could show up. So,
thanks for joining us, Mitch. I'll hopefully see you soon. Right, and we get to the MetaZoo minute.
We'll see Mitch at the beginning of the podcast and at the end of the podcast. It's a Mitch sandwich. You know,
we're going to see how well your video editing skills are. Spoiler: I've seen them.
Wow. Yeah, my skills are much better than the time that I invest in it. You are very sick. I'm sure we've already made fun of that before this, but
I'm dying. This is like I overdid it yesterday. I guess like I'm not well.
Yeah, that sucks.
All right, for those of you who are worried, I think I've had 25 COVID tests, and that they've all been negative.
There you go. Classic. Well, let's continue the conversation because we've already.
Yeah, that was a great talk with Mitch, wasn't it? Wow, that was really insightful. I loved everything he had to say.
It was really great to talk about Flesh and Blood. Now let's transition.
Oh, wow.
And talk about Magic the Gathering, what we're excited to see in 2022 for Magic
and
the Gathering.
Pokemans.
Oh, you want to do Pokemons first?
I like Pokemon better.
All right,
by a lot.
Pokemans. When I was a kid, my dad would always call Pokemon, and I used to get so angry. Like so angry. It's like, Dad, it's not Pokemon, it's Pokemon, Dad. And he still does it. And there's a piece of me that still gets angry.
You could never have told me that. That was such a rookie move. That was such a rookie move on your part.
Yeah, it's like telling you that I started Weight Watchers.
That was also stupid. Wasn't there a commercial like the Queen of Weight Watchers or something?
I don't know.
Now you're the king of Weight Watchers.
There you go. That's what I'm doing, man. Some of us have, we gotta try to keep our figure.
I'm just ready to go home.
Yeah. There you go. You're getting close.
I am. I feel it.
Every week you're more sick.
Oh my god.
All right, Pokemans. All right. I don't know, man. What do you want to say? You start. You're more attuned to the Pokemon stuff.
I want to see stores start to understand that this is not abnormal. When I first started my store, which is only 3.5 years ago now, you had to take Pokemon to get your spend up to get Magic. I'm not kidding. I have like a room full of old Pokemon to prove it, which is now worth far more than it was when I got it. I couldn't sell it. Nobody wanted it at the time. I had Hidden Fates Ultra Premiums on my shelf for months. I guess like it didn't fit. And now people want Pokemon again. And I think like, I told this to people. I'll bet you I saw 20 plus business plans from stores that were predicated on $200 Pokemon boxes.
Right.
I hope this isn't going to be the way it's going to be. This isn't going to work.
Yeah, it's not sustainable.
Like, I forget what set it was that came out during COVID. The very first set, they just went to like $200. It was one with the Pikachu one. They just went to like, boom, $200.
Yeah.
And it like stood there forever. Then it went to $250. And everybody's like, oh my God, like Pokemon's going to print money forever. And like now they found the printers and they're printing a bajillion boxes. And I'll be honest, distributors are like, hey, take some more Pokemon, take some more Pokemon, take some more Pokemon. Have you had Pokemon this week? I got some new boxes in. You want some more? And it's like, you guys, enough. Jeez, oh flip. Y'all can store things too. Y'all have a warehouse. But
they don't like doing that.
But like stores need to relax and realize like this is what Pokemon is. It's not a get rich quick scheme. It's gonna be, you're gonna buy boxes for a certain price. You're gonna sell them for 25, 30% more, and that's the business you chose. Yeah. So like, relax, have a good time.
I think that the Pokemon market tends to set the standard for what the TCG market's going to be like. And, they did that in 2020. We had this huge uptick and that kind of trended towards all the other TCGs. This huge, it was a lot of the Logan Paul. It was a lot of the, there's the 2020, the stimulus checks, all that stuff. But like,
I agree. They should give us some more stimmies and get this market pumping again.
The reality is like that was not a sustainable market for TCGs, and now I think that's going to flux back into all the other ones too. But the question is like, what do we want to see from a Pokemon set? What do we want to see from the TCG? And like honestly, like I think Pokemon's already doing a lot of the things.
Pokemon's doing great.
My daughter pulled it was like the monk, not the monkey, the chipmunk, but it was the alt art extended chipmunk the other day. I was like, that's cool. Like they have all these like super rare like printings, and I think it's a fun thing to open, even the sets that aren't super expensive. Like they're doing a lot as far as the TCG already.
I have very few gripes. The only gripe I have with Pokemon is I wish they would kind of tone down some of their boxes. I guess I have two gripes with Pokemon. If I could have two New Year's resolutions for Pokemon, it'd be these two things. First, for the love of God, would you tone down your packaging? That fat Pikachu box is still the thing of nightmares.
They waste a lot of like space and resources, and they're doing the opposite of Flesh and Blood.
Yeah, like there's 14 packs and one fat Pikachu character. Like you could fit a pallet of stuff into one freaking box, I bet you.
I didn't get any of those fat Pikachu boxes.
I have a million if you want one. I have they're so enormous. I mean, let's get some of this plastic under control here, Pokemon. Let's relax. And I think the other thing is I don't know, I think sometimes their additional boxes, not their booster boxes, are too confusing. Yeah. So why is a Dragon Pult $1 billion? Because it has a bunch of weird stuff in it that's weirdly expensive.
There's a million
really wants.
There's a million products too.
Yeah.
And I get that, and I see what they're doing. They want shelf space at LGSs and stuff like that. But it's a lot. It's a lot to carry. It's a lot to hold. I don't see that changing though.
You got to train. No, you got to train your employees. What's in this box and why is it different than the other 85 Pokemon boxes? And that's hard. And frankly, I don't have a Pokemon person at my store.
Yeah.
So they're reading the box with the customer, be like, oh, this has a binder in it. Oh, this has a notepad in it. Oh, this has.
Yeah. And do you find that the customer even knows what they want?
No, they don't know. They have no clue. They ask the price. I tell them the price, and they assume something's good in it or not.
Yeah.
I don't love that. I think there's just too many weird things. Do I need a notepad? I don't know.
It's the age demographic too.
I don't know. You have does Little Kingdoms write in her Pokemon notepad? I doubt it.
Little Kingdoms can't. Neither of my kids can write. They're two.
How old are your kids?
My oldest is 2.5.
She should be able to write at 2.5.
We do school every morning. For those of you who don't know, if we haven't talked about this already on the podcast, the last 2 days my wife went back to work, so I've been from 10 a.m. to 9 p.m. just me and the two kids, which is great.
I think your kid should be able to write at 2.5. I'll be honest, that's not good.
We've been doing school in the morning though. We do. She's learning 3-letter words right now. She can spell car.
Don't let her learn 4-letter words.
If it's she's learned some 4-letter words.
Yeah, that I know her dad. That does not surprise me.
Anyway, I don't know, man. I think the amount
words are just fab and MZ for Metazoo. That's all they know. That's all they need to know.
That's all they need. Monarch,
the family business.
Yeah, Monarch
is miserable.
So I think that works. So for 7 to 12, that age group is a great demographic. And maybe you probably don't have that huge of a demographic of that at your store, but I think some stores probably do.
I have 12 kids come to my store a year. Yeah, nah, I probably have 12 a month.
I think some stores probably have that demographic and some don't, and so that stuff probably performs pretty well at those stores. But
I don't know. I mean, I'll say this: my distributor seems to have a lot of Dragon Pult if they're selling well.
Yeah, no, I've noticed that.
They're you want some more? I'm like, no.
I would like to see. I would like to see in 2021 toned down packaging. I don't think that will happen because that's definitely not their desire. But I would like to see that. I would also like to see a more refined collector set. I see a lot of people in the 30-year-old range liking the Japanese collection stuff, the stuff from the Pokemon Center. I don't know. I'm not in that world, so I don't know that a lot. But I'd like to see some of that reach LGSs and that kind of super exclusive thing. I think Pokemon's I think they are in a really good position to take what Magic is doing with Secret Layers and throw it to the LGS. They don't have.
We both agree that I think Pokemon has done the best this year of probably any game. Maybe you could argue Metazoo of any of the LGSs, any of the TCGs. at giving products that they know their customers want.
Well, I mean, Celebrations was,
Celebrations was crazy.
It was crazy, and they also made it so that everybody can get it. I love that about Pokemon.
They have the best reprint policy of anybody by a mile.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, there's nobody in the same universe in terms of like good reprint policy.
And I don't want that to change. Like, I like their transparency of, look, anything is reprintable. If it moons, we have the right to reprint it, and then you're investing in things for the super long term and not the short term. Like, they avoid that kind of short term investor type thing. So that's cool.
Like, they print, man. Like,
oh yeah, I mean, they got the new printers too.
I think I sold 3,100 Celebrations products in my store in December.
That's crazy. Celebrations was crazy. That was a great set.
That was a great set.
That was a lot of what I like to see from TCGs, is like that homage to like the old collector, also like some, some fancy new stuff. It was good.
It was a great set. Yeah. I think Pokemon had a great year. I think the one Battle Styles was a little rough, but I think that set's going to age well.
Yeah.
I have a lot of Battle Styles still. And like it, I don't mind holding that. I think that's going to be fine in a year.
Yeah.
I think it's a good set.
Yeah.
I just, like, listen, we know two things sell Pokemon sets: Charizard and Fat Pikas. Like you look a lot like the Pika, and and Battle Styles doesn't have either of those, and that means it's not going to sell well immediately. But they have fun art. It's a cool set. I think it'll be fun.
They know their demographic pretty well. They cater to both the people our age. Well, sorry, the people my age, not as much as people your age. That you're kind of out of the Pokemon realm. You're too old for it. But
are you seeing close to death? I feel that.
But the kids too. They cater to both of those pretty well. I'd like to see them again. I think their packaging is ridiculous, and they need to be doing better. Like, that's they should be setting the industry standard for stuff like that, and they are not.
They are not. They are the laggards. They are the laggards. They're the opposite. Like, Fab is like, we got some recyclable wrappers. Metazoo is like, I'm planting a tree for every box sold and giving $1 billion away for every plant I look at on the way to go buy my wilderness. And Magic is like, I don't really care. I just do my thing. At least Pokemon's like, how much plastic can I put onto the planet?
At least Magic took the secret layers and made those smaller. Did they really? Yeah, they made them like actual size. Well, they need to do that with Commander. They need to do it for Commander. But anyway, I wish I would do something about that. But
yeah, they will not.
I plan on leaning into Pokemon a little, maybe not on the channel, but my buddy Robbie and I are going to start like opening more Pokemon next year.
You're going to be a PokeTuber?
I'm trying to get Robbie to be a PokeTuber. That's my
PokeTubers have like the stupidest number of subscriptions of any card game by a mile.
I know. It's
Can I start calling you Unlisted Louie?
If I were just in this for the clout, I would definitely be a PokeTuber. But I
think there's a lot of clout in that. Like, I guess that's true. Like, I guess like whenever whenever what's his name, Leonhard or whatever his name is, like, gets seen doing anything, it's a big deal.
Like, if I put the time investment that I've put into Flesh and Blood into Pokemon, like, I would probably have 25,000 subscribers by now. Like,
well, the community really appreciates that, and it's
let's move on. Let's move on. Okay, my community appreciates it. Anyway, all right, you ready to talk about Magic?
Yeah.
All right. I'm gonna start with the Magic one because we started talking about this on the phone earlier.
And then you were like, "I'm not telling you mine,"
because you stole my ideas last week.
No, that's fake news.
I think that Magic the Gathering. Oh crap! Now I forget it. I should have told you so you could steal it, and then I didn't take any notes. I've been so distracted this week.
Oh my god!
I think as we move into 2022. Oh crap! I completely forget it.
Go ahead, Louis. You wanted to go first, right? No, you wanted to go first. I don't want to steal your thunder. I don't want to steal your thunder.
You talk about yours, and then I'll try to remember mine.
Here is all I want from Magic the Gathering in 2022. It is one request. Would you hire one person to play test your product? That's all I want for 2022. I don't need a team. I don't need a lot of people. But I remember when they came out with Commander Legends. I will never forget this. And my Wizards rep calls me. He's like, George, you need to go heavy on this product. This is designed for your store. It is draftable Commander. And I said, my store loves Commander.
And loves drafting.
I know. My store loves drafting. I know. He's like, this is a draftable Commander set. And it is unplayable as draftable Commander. It is awful. It is the worst set of cardboard ever produced when you only look at it for what it was designed for.
Right.
Now, there's good cards in it for Commander, and that's good. Thank the Lord.
Right.
If not, box would be $10. But like, as you know, for what it was designed to be, it is the worst box I think ever produced. I would rather play Hyborian Gates than play Commander Legends as draft.
Yeah. So play testing again.
So like, and I mean like it was like one of those moments when I had it happen at my store and I was just like, oh, they didn't play test this literally at all. Like there is nobody who will convince me somebody played Commander Legends as Commander Draft and was like, bam, stick a Watsion logo on it, ready to print.
Should Commander Legends have been a Commander Jumpstart?
Mm-hmm.
That could have been cool.
You know, if they had play tested it, they would have figured out that it's unplayable.
Because Jumpstart, I feel like did pretty well. But nobody did anybody at your store play Jumpstart the way that it was intended? I feel like if Jumpstart was a Commander product, people would have played it the way that it was intended. You mean you get two half decks?
I don't have a lot of new Magic players. They come into my store knowing how to play Magic.
Yeah, but Jumpstart's like a fun. I think Jumpstart was me and Robbie played. I go back to Robbie all the time. We gotta get Robbie on the podcast. It would be horrible. Robbie and I. You think I make fun of? You think you make fun of me? Me and Robbie, man. There's a lot of joking between Robbie and I. Anyway, sorry.
This is a great story. Thank you for sharing that, Lou. This is great content.
I think a Commander Legends Jumpstart thing would have been cool, where you take 50 cards and put them together and have a deck.
Literally anything other than the monstrosity they produced would have been better.
Yeah.
But like for me, it wasn't just like that's a bad box of cards. When you've done a game as long as Magic has, you're allowed to have a bad set and nobody's allowed to complain about it. I think that's like, Crimson Vow is terrible. I'm not complaining about it because like it's it happens.
Right.
But Commander Legends showed me they're just not playtesting.
Right.
They just they just don't care. They're just like, oh, you know what's gonna happen? You're gonna buy it.
Right.
And they're right. So like maybe like what I want is something they're not willing to they're not willing to do because like the customers don't seem to care.
Mm-hmm.
Like Magic is still selling like crazy.
Right.
Except for Crimson Vow. And like it's but like man, like I don't know, man. I think I feel like you should be able to hire a play tester if you're Magic the Gathering.
Right. A team. There should be a team that's making sure.
Or I guess a person. I'll take one at this point. Let's start small in 2022.
I'm sure there's a team. All right. My thing I remembered while you were talking. It was good that I think this is crazy. So Magic has set themselves up for this world, right? Where they, for the last 10 years, it's just been kind of like all they focus on is printing things to oblivion, and it's all about the player, and yet they don't play test and they don't have like people who actually care about standard. And now I really feel like Magic's standard environment has kind of just like it's like almost non-existent. I think that they have painted themselves in a perfect opportunity to stop printing to demand and to do limited, do a lower print run type thing. And that would bring them into this like world where they're competing again with the other TCGs that they're like, if they're Rudy always talks about how he thinks Magic is afraid of Metazoo and Flesh and Blood and the collector market that they're seeing there. If they just didn't print the obscene amount of boxes that they're printing and they cared more about the secondary market, that would compete. I know you hate this. That would change the market.
I want to congratulate you. That is the worst idea I've ever heard in my life.
I'm not saying like print it so that nobody can get it.
That's exactly what you're saying.
No, I'm not.
You're like, I'm not saying to short print it. I'm just saying don't print as much of it.
Go back to the same metrics that they use for like Return to Ravnica, like that kind of style of.
That was available for 2 years.
before that, before Return to Ravnica. Like the sets right before that. That was the
when
print
there was like 14 stores. I mean, like, come on, man. Get out of here.
Go back to the metrics that they used before then, and then stop the whole like they give the most of the print run to their own selves on Amazon.
Well, that's a different topic.
What they did with Time Spiral,
you should have started with that second one, which is actually a good one, and not your monstrosity of the first one. I'll be honest.
What they did with Time Spiral Remastered, where it was like
awful.
It was only awful. It was only awful because they put it on Amazon.
No, it was awful because they made an amazing set that people couldn't access.
Right. Give everything that they put on Amazon to the LGS, but just don't.
And there still would not have been enough for Time Spiral Remastered.
I disagree, dude. There was a lot of Time Spiral on Amazon.
$300 a box right now.
There was a lot on Amazon, a metric ton on Amazon. What are your fingers doing now? Are you looking up on Amazon?
No, I don't care about Amazon. Jeff Bezos is cool.
His
new picture. He looks buff.
Your fingers grew. They look bigger.
I'll be honest. On my watch, I had to undo with strap because I'm swollen today. It's not good.
Today.
I'm not. No, it's like I wore the watch yesterday. You mean today? Get out of here. Time Spiral Remastered is currently the cheapest box is $270.
That's great. What was it at release?
Awful.
What was it at release? What was it at release? I didn't get any Time Spiral Remaster. I own one.
Well, you don't deserve any apparently.
I own one box of Time Spiral.
$253 at release,
and it's $275 now.
Yeah.
Okay, that's not like.
That's awful. That's awful because the box should have been $150. And it should still be like $200.
What was the MS? Well, there was no MSRP, but what box doesn't it compare to Modern Horizons 2?
No, not for price. Not for our pricing. Not for store pricing. No,
it was a regular booster box for store.
It was
pricing?
Not a regular booster box. It was nowhere near Modern Horizons 2.
Interesting. I thought it was. I didn't buy it. I was in a store back then, so I didn't have any. Yeah, I didn't get any Time Spiral. Interesting. I thought that it was more of a Modern Horizons 2 set. I think, like, my point is
Louis wants you to pay $300 for a booster box to play a game you love.
No.
I want accessible to all of you.
Instead of the boxes being
I'll help you define your points a little bit better.
Instead of the boxes being in print for 2 years and like this massive influx of product at the end of that 2-year cycle. What, you don't feel like that's the way that it is?
No.
I feel like that's the way it is.
I think that's good. I think people want to play if you want,
they can still play the game if they print it in the 6 months or 12-month window. But they have 15 sets a week. They come out with a million sets a week.
Topic again.
But okay, so my point is, if they're going to come out with 15 million sets a week, then they can't constantly be shoving it down the throats of their consumers and their stores.
I'll say this. I don't feel that pressure from Magic. No, I will say that like I have a different distributor for Magic than I do for Pokemon, so that might explain part of the difference. Shout out to my favorite distributor who sells me my Magic and my Fab now. I'll leave it at that.
You just gotta get your Pokemon from them.
I gotta get moved. I can move my Pokemon over. I do I got like I think I did $500,000 on Pokemon this year.
That's crazy
from distributors. Anywho, like I think like I like the way they do their boxes right now, except for Time Spiral, ironically. Let people have access to the product.
I want that. You're assuming my intentions are wrong. I just think access to the product for 2 years becomes a crutch for, I don't know, it just becomes a crutch for the market. Saying, if you are Magic, if you're a Wizards of the Coast and you are afraid that these other games with their limited print runs are taking your market cap and
let's break it down a little bit. This is a terrible argument. First of all, Magic has nothing to fear from Metazoo. The only thing I would say about that is that, like, and I've talked to stores about this. It is much easier to convert a Magic player to a Metazoo player than any other game.
Yeah.
Because they're used to that land or aura system.
Yeah. But
usually I think Metazoo goes more towards the Pokemon audience.
Right. I agree.
So, like, I don't think, if I'm WotC, I think Metazoo is something I have to keep on my long-term threat sheet. but not today.
Yeah.
Today they're going after, Mike's got to take down the Pokemon crowd, then he can come for Magic.
I agree.
And I think, listen, the Fab thing, those are different players. Fab has
a competitive scene.
Yeah, Fab has basically said, I want you in that store playing competitively.
Yeah.
And Magic is I want you in that store playing Commander.
Yeah. And it's funny because I know of the I bet you of the 20 to 30 players of Magic the Gathering that I interact with or have interacted with in the last 3 years, maybe 2 of them are competitive. Maybe 2 of them go to a Friday Night Magic being I want to win Friday Night Magic. Most of them go to Friday Night Magic being I just want to play the game and this is where I play when it's not Commander night. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I just don't think, I don't know, I think that this year has shown that Magic has a lot more stability than I think I gave them credit for at the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
In the beginning of the year, I was oh my God, Fab is going to take down Magic by this time next year. And Fab will overtake Magic. And it's they're a 10th of the size. It's not maybe in 20 years, maybe in 10 years, we'll have that discussion. But a lot can happen in a decade.
I think maybe my argument as I refine it is for collector boxes to be that way.
Oh,
I feel
okay. Oh.
Listen. I feel you can get Crimson Vow collector boxes right now.
Crimson Vow is a dud
for the price of a it's distributor price basically. It's
less.
It's less than distributor, and I feel if as a result of that, also as a result of the complete I think Throne of Eldraine collector boxes were perfect. The market for that. It was accessible for a few months. You could get the boxes if you wanted them, but then they gained value. And I think what you saw happen.
That's happened with every set that's gone out of print. That will happen with Crimson Vow in a year and a half.
No, it won't.
What set has gone out of print for Magic that has not been true for?
I mean, look at Return to Ravnica. They're $100 boxes. Return to Ravnica. Oh, last time I looked at it, it was a $100 box.
But I said collector booster, first of all.
Well, they didn't have collector boosters. That. No.
That's my point.
The collector boosters of what is it? Theros haven't gone up.
That's not true at all.
I don't know the Metazoo marker,
wow.
Whatever game.
Any card game.
My point is, if you look at the before you just shut me down, can I finish my argument? You always do
ahead.
this.
Make your terrible argument.
I think the amount of collector boxes that have been added have devalued foils. They've devalued the multipliers. They've devalued all that stuff. So if you limit that kind of availability, you can still have the collector product, but it doesn't devalue all the foil singles and all that stuff in the same way.
So Theros is now 210. It started off at 218.
Right. So like I said, it's kind of just a dead market.
I mean, it's selling though. 2 boxes sold yesterday.
2 boxes. my point is that it affects the singles market where I like the multiplier for foils. I like to see okay, a foil rare is $5 and the non-foil is $2.50. I like that multiplier, and because
it tanked the last 3 months. Theros did. That's wild. Wonder why.
Also, the collector boxes, because they're so abundant and because there's so many foils, it tanks any collectability.
I think that's true. I think that you have a stronger argument on. I think, but this points to the harder problem, because when you have these 3 boxes, I think it's one too many.
I agree, and that's why they're trying to get rid of. Well, I don't know. They're trying to get rid of draft boxes. Though.
I don't know how you do that though.
I hate that. I hate it.
I don't think you can. I think stores are going to throw a fit.
They're starting it in the Japanese market. I think one of the markets. One of the markets they're starting.
I only speak freedom.
Pretty sure Japan isn't Japan a free nation?
I can't hear you over me with my guns, eating Buc-ee's and smoking the pots. What were you saying? I missed it.
Okay. All right. Let's move on. Are we?
So like, here's what I will say is I think you are right about that, and that I think the collector booster box just makes every single from every other box completely worthless.
It ruins the singles even from its own box.
No,
the only thing that's valuable is the high rare foils. The high.
I think that's I think that's true. I don't think that bothers me.
I hate that.
I know you do. You are a greedy piglet. I'm
not. No, stop. What my point is, I want players to retain the value of their collections. When they open a box, I want the value of their collection to not tank by 50% because it's just like greed of the company. That's what this is. Like the more boxes they print, the more boxes they
listen. I think it's pretty obvious that collector boosters are just a cash cow, right? Like that the money on that has to be unbelievable. Especially because there's no shipping costs. The boxes are so tiny,
and it costs them less to. I mean, it doesn't cost that much more to produce a foil card than a non-foil.
No. Especially when they get to do this gross rainbow everything foiling. It's not even good foiling.
They don't even like do the design on it.
Yeah, it's not like at least like Metazoo or Fab has to like box out where they want foiling.
Yeah.
Magic is just like foil everything.
Foil the whole card.
Yeah. Screw it through the box while we're at it. Do the inside.
Let's do etch foiling and make it look horrible. Let's just etch the entire card.
That's what we should have done. For the love of God, either do cold foiling or don't. Putting a drop of cold foiling outside the text box is maybe the worst of both worlds.
Or the other one they did for Commander Legends. Remember, it was like etched. The whole card was like this horrible. It looked like a blurry foil.
It was awful. They're so bad at that. They're so bad.
They don't care. That's it. For a card game that's been on the market the longest, they care the least.
They don't have to, and they know it. It's amazing.
But here's the thing. This is my point. If they decided to care. If they decided to care about that world, it would be, and this is like the serialized cards. Maybe that's their way of caring.
Yeah.
But
I'll be honest. I think Rudy's right. That's going to be a game changer.
We'll see.
Oh, that's going to be a game changer.
We'll see.
Louis, a magic card out of 1,000 will be one thing when they start doing, they're going to become sports.
They already did 100, right? Isn't so. Yeah.
But like there's gonna be a 1-on-1 magic card, and Louis, that card is gonna go for so much money.
And it depends on what the card is.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. It could be a common foil X 1-of-1.
I think it depends on the card.
I think 5 figures.
That's crazy. Yeah, I'd like to see that stuff though.
It would be the rarest magic card ever produced.
I think that the lineup for 2022 Magic is the best lineup
by far
in 5 years.
Yeah, by far.
I think
the unset, starting off strong with the unset.
Wait. They're starting off not strong.
Kamigawa.
I'm not loving Kamigawa so far.
What is wrong with you? Have you seen the lands?
The lands look cool. The whole
that's another thing. Put the cool lands in the draft booster box. Don't do you could chance at the cool lands. Just give them the lands. Come on, Magic. Don't be such cheap jerks. Just give the players the cool land.
The Kamigawa, I wish it was old school Kamigawa, not this neon
I love it. You're nuts. I like the set.
The parallels are going to be interesting. It's going to be a bear to sell singles. Poor single sellers, man. They are screwed. Rudy's if they put in our etched cards, maybe we'll start seeing more mass box openings. Yeah, but they put in parallels and it makes it impossible to sell singles. It's crazy.
Lots of charge packs. I don't know, man. I don't something. I'm pretty hyped about it. I think Kamigawa will be good. I think
Unset looks great.
Unset looks really good. A lot of things look good.
Yeah. All right.
Call 911. I'm dying.
Hey, Mitch is back. All right, now it's time. Now it's time to do the Metazoo minute.
Are we doing Genesis? Joke about the mixed sandwich again? So it'll be the third time this podcast, or is 2 enough?
I love being sandwiched by 2 just meaty men.
No, you're the bread.
No, you're the bread.
Okay.
I'm the meats.
No, you're the bread.
That's not how sandwiches work.
You're on each end. You're better.
Are you sure you made sandwiches in the past?
First sandwich barista.
I thought you guys are opening.
No.
Okay, never mind.
You're the bread.
I'm over. I am the bread.
You're the bread.
You guys are the meat.
Let's talk about Genesis and then let's do Metazoo minute.
All right, last week, right?
Last week for the Kickstarter. I'm playing on Sunday night. I'm gonna hopefully try to live stream it depending on kids in the Genesis. I love they do a Sunday night learn to play event in the Discord server where it's like a free to play. They got a bunch of people that teach.
On
it's
Sundays?
really on Sunday nights. It's really cool. I don't know what time. I have to
might
look
do
it up.
that. Because I need to really dive in and start to learn it better.
Like I've played quite a few games, but it's my timeline of playing is so spread out that like you forget a bunch of things. I need to play
the entry. Yeah.
Yeah, I need to play like 2 weeks in a row, like 3 or 4 times a week, and then I'll have learned it. But
for those who haven't played, how does it feel playing that game?
Oh, it's super fun. Like I love the movement system. Like I'm addicted to it. Like I love the idea that you get to move around on the map, and I think it's such a cool it's such a cool complexion to a TCG that you get to
find. It's like it is a smooth game.
It feels like it makes sense, and it's like why haven't we seen this become an actual thing in the past? Because it just makes so much sense. Like the grid-based idea and like the way that it all is fleshed out, it's just so much. It's just a cool and it's easy. It's pretty easy to pick up too. Like when
it's hard to master, easy to kind of get going, kind of thing.
Well, I haven't gotten close. Oh, my wife's here. I haven't gotten close. You're beautiful. Look how beautiful she is.
Goat.
I
have to deal with you. That alone is goat status. I'll be honest.
I agree. I just think it's easy to pick up as a while you're learning to play. It's easy, and I have not mastered it, so I don't know if it's hard or easy to master. But the deck size, you can build a deck with as many cards as you want.
Yeah, I know.
Probably
there's not a card limit, right?
It makes deck building complex, I think.
Yeah,
but I don't deck build in any TCG, so I don't.
We all know you just net deck. That's fine.
I net deck. That's what I do.
Is net deck yet?
I don't know. Probably.
I don't think there's a Genesis deck builder yet. Let me get somebody out there doing it. So
there you go.
So I've opened a lot of Genesis. What does that look? I've probably opened 20 boxes
of J2.
Yeah. I mean, like that's a lot for. I think
you got like 6.
I still have some sealed back behind me.
So you've got like 6 foils, huh?
Exactly. That's why I kept opening. I'm like, damn it, I want some foils. I just want like a god pack. Like, give me something.
Yes, I haven't had a god pack. You know what my stupid idiot did? Me? My stupid idiot called me.
My stupid idiot myself, the idiot inside me.
I was opening boxes and I wanted to open a foil epic. I was like, I'm gonna open boxes till I hit a foil epic. I'm gonna open a foil epic.
How'd that go for you?
It's not gonna happen. You know what's funny, Louis? I was like, just give me a rare. Like, just give me something. Because I kept hitting commons and uncommons. I did think I eventually got a rare foil, but I don't even know where it is at this point.
That's so much fun to open because I love it. And people who are like, Louis, you don't understand the market. People like shiny things. I get that. But I don't like I like the rarity of shiny things.
And their foils are like full on foil.
I hate the way that Magic has completely destroyed the foil multiplier. Like I love in Genesis that the foil version is worth like 30 times. It's 30 to 40 times.
But there's also like 10 of them in the world, it feels
like.
Love it.
So, love it.
It's a challenge. George, what are you thinking?
Oh, I'm all in. I like Genesis a lot. Like we're going, we're trying to figure out how many boxes to get the last week of the Kickstarter. My gut right now is about 400, maybe 500 boxes.
Nice.
That might go up. I'll be honest. Like if my final number is closer to 750, I won't be shocked.
Yeah.
Because you're stocking like your whole store. Like you're stocking your whole store for that, right?
Yeah. Listen, like I really believe in Genesis. I think Genesis is a really good game. Assad's a great CEO. Assad and Mike, I think, have really cut their teeth this year. Assad messaged me directly and said, "Hey, Mitch, I've talked to Louis and George directly, and I know that you've kind of dipped your toes in a little bit. What are things that you think that we could do well to help serve that content community, to serve, content creators, to serve stores? What are things that you think would be like just him reaching out directly to somebody who's I'm not a brick and mortar like you all, so I won't be able to sell boxes. I could sell singles, but as Louis was just mentioning, the way that singles work are not quite the same complexity, or maybe not complexity is the word. The way deck building works is it doesn't really make singles as valuable, or at least as a business model.
I think you could have a potential to sell decks.
Yes, but you have, that's so much work, Louis. You know that.
I know. If you don't want to work at all, then you're not going to.
Well, I already have a job. It's working and working on top of that. So, I think the game.
I have a job. You're unemployed.
I'm genuinely curious to see if Genesis starts to get legs within the States. It's actually already kind of growing in Canada, from what I understand, and that's where they're based out of. So,
if you like poutine, you will like Genesis.
That's actually the motto.
Yeah. You're welcome, Assad. If that's not on the box, I think you have failed as a CEO.
That's actually what the Kickstarter is. Genesis. If you like poutine, you'll like love Genesis.
Like, let me be clear. Like, everybody should like poutine.
So what we've learned in this podcast so far.
What?
Louis is not great at marketing. George is great at marketing.
Yeah. Sure. Wait. You don't know what poutine is?
I mean, we talked about it on the podcast multiple times.
Jesus. Are you serious?
I tend to not pay attention.
It's French fries with cheese and gravy on top.
No, cheese curds. Cheese curds. And not just gravy, like a delicious gravy.
Who likes cheese turds? That's disgusting.
Jesus Christ. I just can't do it. I'm sorry, Assad. Forgive his ignorance. He does not know not.
Are you eating a razor blade? Is that a razor blade?
I wasn't eating it. All right.
I wasn't eating it. I was just putting it in my mouth.
You know what my favorite thing about Genesis Kickstarter is? Everyone who I've talked to about the Kickstarter, which is I've had a lot of private messages. A lot of people in our community are on the Kickstarter. Yeah. They say, Louis, what do you think about the 3 Kickstarters that are going on? I say, I don't know, man. What do you think? Like, what is you know what I think because I do videos, whatever. What do you think? And what I hear all the time is, I think this game or that game is just going to be a lot of people who are in it to flip it. But I actually want to play Genesis and try it out. And I love that the way that Assad has built their Kickstarter is it's pro player. It's pro like
the whole game is. The whole dynamic of boxes is everything pro player.
And I love that. And I think that's why it has like one of the things people always compare things to Metazoo Kickstarter. And what I remind them, they're like, do you think this is the next Metazoo Kickstarter? And I remind them that like Metazoo had raised $18,000. There was 250 backers. It had nothing. Like it had no traction at all. And that's why the Metazoo Kickstarter box is worth so much money. Like if you have 1 billion backers that are all in it for the tendies and the flipping, then it's just not going to ever have the legs. And Metazoo didn't. That's not Metazoo's story. They got big after their Kickstarter. And I like that Genesis is not leaning into that. Like they're aware of that. Like I feel like some of the other Kickstarters aren't fully aware of that. They're trying to play off the secondary market. And Assad's just like, no, like we'll print as many boxes as we can do in Kickstarter. That's the point, right? Like that's the point of a Kickstarter is to support the game and grow the game. And so like for me, that's what makes me super excited about the way they're doing things. And I'm stoked about it. So
what's really interesting with how they did the foiling, which we were talking about as well, is even as a player, you're just genuinely excited to find. It's like finding like a hidden treasure. You're not because they're so rare. You're not expecting to find it. So when you actually get one, you're like, oh, like for me, like it wasn't, oh, how much is this? It's like I finally got one.
Yeah,
it's like finding a fossil or something. It was just like I've been looking for it and it just randomly appeared, right? Like it was they do actually opening foils. Versus Fab, like every pack has a foil, you know. It really was a nice change of pace to have.
They do the full card foiling, which
it's fine.
I'm not a huge fan of, but like when it's that rare, it kind of doesn't matter.
Yes.
Like it just doesn't matter at that point. Like I almost like that when you get it, it's like blinding. It's like, oh my gosh.
Yes. It's a lot to take in.
Yeah.
So
it's super cool. George, you've been surprisingly quiet.
I'm excited. George is going all in.
Yeah, George is ready.
You're feeling pretty bad. Your throat hurting?
Everything hurts.
Sorry, dude. That's partly age, I'm sure, too.
Happy New Year, buddy.
All right.
I'm almost done with my sandwich, so we're almost done.
The Zoo Minute.
What do we want from the zoo in 2022?
Oh, there's no special secret thing that you had?
It rhymes.
Well, on Discord, they posted, what was it, yesterday, a new image that had a Kickstarter logo in the corner.
That's the playing deck. That's the card game.
Yeah,
the cards.
Like
the playing cards.
Playing cards.
Yeah.
On Kickstarter.
All right. So here's what I want from the zoo in 22. I want a release that has all the products at the distributor at the same time.
Yes.
And I think Mike knows that. I think Mike has said
yeah.
that, like, that is his goal for Wilderness.
Yeah.
But like, I think that is something that like needs to happen in 2022 is like the distributor will have box decks, spell books, event decks,
Have a more
everything.
seamless launch.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of the way. Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of the way they've done it in the past. And just
You're
like delay it.
You're for sure not, because you're doing bundles, Louis.
Yeah.
So you're like, I gotta wait till my bundle.
Because then you get people who cancel orders as the market changes, and it's just annoying and frustrating. And I almost rather have a delayed release.
Yeah. So what would be a better? I mean, so there's two outcomes: either ship them like they're continue shipping, which is piecemeal.
I don't have a problem with it for this, for Cryptid Nation 2. I didn't have a problem with it for Nightfall. It's like, listen, the world's a mess. Supply chains are a mess. It didn't bother me. It still doesn't bother me for Cryptid Nation 2. I do think in 22, I want to see
a seamless launch.
A launch at once. Hopefully that's with Wilderness. If not, it'll be with the UFO set. But I think that needs to be a top priority. And I think Mike knows that. And I think Mike will accomplish that. I want to see
I'm sure we'll tell him about it.
I will. I want to see him flesh out some of these verticals in 22, and I think he's working on that too. I want to see like the NFTs. I want to see them do something other than just give early access. I want to see the party with all the NFTs in it. I want to see some fleshing out of the verticals, and I think he'll do that. Those are my two big wishes for 22 for Metazoo. And I think this has been the year of the zoo. Like this has been the year of the zoo.
It's really been the last 6 months that it's just been outrageous.
Like
6 to 9 months.
I like listen, that third podcast we did, and I was like, listen, like Metazoo's coming for the world. And you guys wanted to talk about something else. And I was like, it does not matter. Because
what was the title of your video yesterday, Louis?
Because like Metazoo's coming. And
I was wrong about Metazoo, or I thought Metazoo would fail was my video.
Yeah.
And like,
I think it was worse than that, but yeah, it was a clickbaity title for sure.
And like,
I think wasn't clickbaity. That's exactly what I talked about.
Mother of God.
I thought you said it was a joke.
I thought Metazoo was a joke. Yeah, that's what I said.
You did not say it was going to fail. You thought it was a joke.
I thought Metazoo was a joke. Yeah, sorry. You're right. I thought that was
more clickbaity than it was a fail. But go ahead.
Conversation I talked about was I thought it was a joke.
I'm not disagreeing with you.
Look at the name of our podcast. We all thought Metazoo was a joke. We named our...
I'm well aware.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes. And then you and two of the three of us were proved wrong. And then we got on the hype train with George, and George is like, I'm going now.
You were still against it on that third episode. I knew on the third episode...
You knew after opening.
Nick, not me. Nick, not me. Okay, good. Yeah. I was like, wait a minute.
Wait a minute, boss. On, and I am fully, and I apologized explicitly to Mike, and I was like, hey, I was wrong.
You're wrong. Yeah.
This doesn't matter.
Remember I said.
Here's my point. Okay, this doesn't matter. Here's my point.
It doesn't matter because it's the year we all got on together.
I think this. What scares me is like I hope the Metazoo community realizes that this parabolic growth cannot continue in perpetuity.
Yep.
I bought most of my Kickstarter boxes for $1,500. I just bought some for $9,000, maybe a little bit more than that. That does not mean in 6 months they're going to go 6x again.
Right.
I agree.
That box will not be $54,000 in June.
Right.
It'd be nice.
And you guys need to not expect it to do that. And you can't count that as a failure.
Yeah.
Like what really scares me, the number one thing that scares me about Metazoo is people like, geez, Nightfall really flopped. I'm like, it's like 2 times MSRP.
Right. It's
like
their second set in double MSRP.
70% more than MSRP. Like that's the definition of a flop. Is like there's so much demand that like if you put it under MSRP, you sell it in an instant.
I can tell you all
was a tremendous success.
Yeah. I put boxes out recently and they sold instantly.
Yeah, I mean, like I think like the community needs to kind of like they need to temper some of their expectations.
Yep.
You're not gonna have that you're not gonna have the Kickstarter boxes go from $100 to $10,000 every set.
And new releases are now printed at volumes that should be MSRP plus maybe 10, 15, 20% on release.
Right.
And like, I think like that doesn't mean the game's failed. It means that
that means it's healthy.
2 months ago, everyone was like, you need to print more boxes so that people can get the hands of the players. And now everyone's like, oh my gosh, Crypto Nation 2nd edition, blah, 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 blah. It's like, no, this is the point. Like, we want boxes to be affordable for play.
Right.
So my thing that I want to see in 2022, I agree with George. That was a really good one. My brain didn't even go to like product releasing in time, but it's because my brain went to, when you guys say that 2021 was the year of Metazoo, and I think 2021 was great for Metazoo. I think 2022 has the potential to be even more the year of Metazoo, is my point.
I think that's true.
Because of, and this is the key to me, and if this doesn't happen in the way that I hope it happens, it might be different, but like organized play and getting people involved at the LGS is the transition point for Metazoo, in my opinion.
Yes.
Where somebody said the other day, and everyone was complaining in the Facebook group you see all the time, does anybody even ever play this game? I don't see it played at my LGS. And somebody left a comment that I was like, that's great. This is a great argument. The game's been out was the first edition released 4 or 5 months ago. Like, no new game you see is going to be in every LGS in 4 or 5 months.
And the boxes were how much?
Right. And it came out super expensive.
Like,
so
nobody's gonna pay. Yeah.
I think 2nd edition coming out at acceptable, at the prices that it is right now, is saying that, hey, now boxes are available for stores to really launch their their organized play program. You can use packs for prize support. You can do all the things. Like, now stores don't have that excuse, and like now's where the legwork comes in for stores, and that's what, where Mike's leaning into. Like, I haven't been able to run events on, my people ask me all the time, Louis, are you gonna run organized events on the Discord server? I haven't been able to, because like, to expect somebody to drop X amount of dollars on a deck just doesn't seem realistic. But now that 2nd edition's out, I feel like I can do that, and I can run those. Even though I want to do an event wrapped around the Mothman Festival here in West Virginia, where like people come and play that are going to the Mothman, and then they can go to the Mothman Festival, like really cool things like that. And that now you can do that with the organized play program. So I hope 2022 produces that kind of.
I think that will happen.
Yeah,
I think we'll see a lot more OP.
And I think, like, remember the symbols for Cryptid Nation 2 are the same for Nightfall. They fixed a lot of the problems in Cryptid Nation 1 and Cryptid Nation 2.
Yep.
Yeah. I'm generally curious to see how the accessibility of Cryptid Nation 2 2nd edition, how that will open up the player base, or at least get it started. George, you've mentioned Nightfall's a joy to play, at least at your store. A lot of people have been commenting how good it is.
Yeah.
I'm really curious to see. It sounds like they've put a lot of time and effort into Wilderness as well. So I actually hope Wilderness stays around MSRP so we can actually play it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I think that,
I think it will. I do think what we will see this year is I don't want to say it's an echo, but maybe a similarity of I actually think the amount of growth that Metazoo saw this year sets them up for a really hard challenge this year, because you're like, oh, well, Wilderness didn't grow 2x in 2 weeks. No, like, that's not the expectation. Like, if it's growing 2x in 2 weeks, it's because the demand's doubled again or tripled, I don't see that meteoric growth continuing to happen. I do see a steady growth strategy where he's continuing to, building these verticals. The pins, I'm not a pin guy, but those pins are awesome. I actually didn't realize how sweet pins would be. Exactly. Like, opening some Nightfall, you opened all your boxes, didn't you?
Dude, last night
Isn't it fun though?
I had 2 sealed cases here, and I was like, I really wanted to hit the Wendigo. I actually got the pin, but not
I got the Wendigo.
I got the pin, but not the stupid card. I was so angry.
I did the pack, whatever it's called.
Yeah, I got the the alt art pin. This is the alt art pin, but
is that the chase one?
But I didn't get the chase card. So anyway, I opened another case then trying to get the chase card, and I didn't get it. And now I don't have any sealed cases. And you know me, I like to have at least one sealed case of everything. So now I'm gonna have to buy one.
They're only selling for like 200, 300 now.
Yeah, which is, they were 150, weren't they? I think that's what we paid for them.
George is legitimately dying right now.
Yeah,
I'm dying. Here's what I think. Here's where I want to see Metazoo in June of this year. I want boxes to be reasonably priced.
Yeah.
I want the player base to really grow.
Yeah.
And I think that will happen. Nightfall started that. I think Crypto Nation 2 will continue that. And I think Wilderness will also continue that.
And
that is the path I want to see.
Let me highlight this. I don't want to see hyper competitive. That's not what I'm expecting.
No.
Here's what I'm expecting.
There,
this is what I'm expecting. High value prize support that's given to LGSs that run events, so it can't be sold by
NFTs.
I don't.
You were giving out like some tokens, I think, for prize support, which I thought was really cool. Go ahead.
That's really cool. I agree, but high prize support. Like I want a Mothman card that is only available at LGSs for prize support. And that will bring these collectors into being like, I'm going to go to the LGS and throw a deck together and play the game. I'm not going to practice for 30 hours a week. I'm not going to play in 15 million events, but I'm going to go to the LGS to play the game. Like that's a win. And it doesn't need to be, everyone's like, how can it be competitive? It doesn't need to be hyper competitive. It can just
be competitive, but it can be more laid back too.
It can be Friday Night Magic competition. And I don't know what your guys' Friday Night Magics look like, but mine around me do not look like this hyper competitive thing where there's like one or two guys who defeat everyone and are trying super hard to win and nobody likes them. And then there's 15 other people playing because they want to hang out with people. That's what Friday Night Magic looks like. And that's what Metazoo should look like. So anyway.
Cool.
We done?
Are there anything? I mean, you were talking about NFTs are, getting scooped up left and right. Louis, are you seeing? You thinking those are going to continue to grow?
It all depends on it all depends on the announcements of their utility.
Yeah,
I would like to see a roadmap on the website updated with this is the actual utility. That would be huge, especially for Genesis. Like, there's been a lot of there's been a lot of different things said about Genesis. I'd like to see it on an actual, transparent document. But the floor price has gone up on them. I think the issue with NFTs, I think, is people are so either people are all for them or they're all against them, and people need to realize that there's a middle ground here where like it's going to disrupt NFTs are going to disrupt the world somehow. That doesn't mean that you have to be involved in them to enjoy the product. You don't have to, you can still get the Dim Max shirts without having an NFT. Right. You just don't get a card added to your pack added to it. So it's just like a bonus. It's like, think of NFTs as a subscription, as a membership. And
it's an expensive one.
This whole NFTs are a scam thing is accurate for 98% of NFTs, but Metazoo is a reliable company. And it
OpenSea actually has them. If you go to collections right now and you look at utility tokens, they're like in the top 10 right now.
That's awesome.
NFTs.
That's incredible.
I thought it was really cool. I shared that with Mike. It's like, dude, did you know you're like under this? He's like, I had no idea.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, it's super cool to see that. I think it'll be an interesting year altogether with technology. For all those who don't know, I work in the tech sector, and it's just going to be really interesting to see how NFTs, crypto, and all that continues to grow in the next year. And there's going to be, I think, a unique intersection, and we're already seeing it between like video games, TCGs potentially, or games in general, and NFTs and crypto. It'll be interesting to see how those kind of come in line. Should be an interesting year for sure.
I just think it's important for people and for companies, and I think Meta's just doing this to realize that it doesn't have to be all NFT. And if you don't own an NFT, you're missing out on that, but you're not missing out on enjoying the game. Everything that you could have done, if the NFT didn't exist, you'd be getting the same treatment. You're just not getting the bonus stuff. I don't know.
I got you.
Yeah. Cool.
Awesome.
All right, George, feel better, buddy. This is it's sad seeing you like this.
I'm dying.
Yeah.
I miss your sass.
Yeah.
This is it.
I really wish that you made fun of me for the Weight Watchers comments because I had a lot of comebacks prepared, and so I didn't even get into my.
I just see Louis in the mirror. He goes, "I'm going to come back and get George this time. I'm ready."
I was practicing them. He didn't even I've been I even gave it to him on a platter so that he would make fun of me, and he just didn't.
I'm not that kind of guy, Louis. I'm not that person.
You called me fat 18 times in the last podcast.
I'm not that person.
You literally texted me and said, "Hey, can you edit out some of the times where I made fun of you so I don't sound like a jerk?"
This is a supportive. This is a safe place, really. This is your safe place. You can tell me anything you want publicly on this podcast. It's fine.
my comebacks were so good, but we'll have to save them for next time.
Anything like this is a safe place.
The Weight Watchers thing has to continue for like another 6 months, so I'm sure we'll get into it.
One of my best friends did it. He lost weight. I don't remember now though. Maybe gained weight. I don't know. It was a scam.
I move my bike, so every time I'm on the camera, I see it more clearly now.
All right.
May the zoo be with you all.
And also with you.
And everyone, remember to be kind to the people around you.
Go back in.